Check this out. When I started building the second boss in my game, Dead Reckoning, the Blood King, I had one guiding principle in mind. Fighting him should feel like I'm fighting another player. That's it. That's all I wanted. It had to feel as close as I could make it to competing against another human who was trying to beat me, and not just your standard game boss. Now, he's not perfect, and I'm going to keep on tuning him, but for the second boss I've ever built, I'm pretty damn happy. This little guy rocks. In this video, I'm going to show you the techniques I use to make what I think is a pretty cool boss fight, especially for a noob like me. He's definitely the most complex character I've built so far, and I even tried to give him a brain. On top of that, to add a little extra challenge to the fight, he periodically summons wasps from a hive that dive bomb you, and I'll talk about implementing that as well. The Blood King has a pretty solid moveset. There's his bread and butter, an in-close double slash. There's a jump slam to make players pay if they get right up on top of him. He's got an offensive charge attack, and then a defensive dash attack that starts with a back step that I'm actually pretty proud of how it works, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. His AoE is what I call a blood slam. He teleports out, then the code takes a snapshot of where the player is, he executes his blood slam attack at that spot, and then teleports back in afterwards. The teleport in and out also serve as his arrival animation at the beginning of a fight and his death animation at the end. Then there was what was originally called a charge or some kind of buff animation, but I repurposed it as a summon animation for the wasps. Now you can see here he's fairly complex. He's got a lot of states and a whole bunch of hitboxes for the different attacks. It took me a bit to build all that and to tune all the hitboxes appropriately. There are also quite a few scripts, but the one I'm most proud of is what I call his brain. It's one of my most complex scripts so far. The Blood King's actual moves, swinging, dashing, jumping, live in their own little self-contained scripts. The brain doesn't know how to do any of them. Its only job is to decide which one to do and when. Every physics frame, the brain runs through 3 questions, top to bottom, and stops at the first one that applies. Do I see an attack coming and can I do something about it? If not, how do I react? Otherwise, what should I do right now? Layer 1 is his predictive phase, and it's honestly the thing I'm most proud of. If you come sprinting into a space fast enough, he reads it as a committed charge and backsteps before your swing even comes out. This is the scariest one. It feels like he's anticipating you. It's on a cooldown, so he doesn't do it all the time, but it's pretty neat when it does. Watch here, as I attack him, you can see him dodge back. And while I'm recovering from my attack, he dashes forward and counterattacks me. I'll play it slow again so you can see. But even if you do manage to land a hit on him, he's so aggressive that it's very difficult to get a free hit off. That's layer 2 of the brain, his reaction. When you actually commit to an attack, he waits a fraction of a second and then counters. What he counters with depends on distance. This is another important principle I've learned about building boss fights. Know the effective distances of your boss's attacks and base their ranges on those specific numbers. Don't just code generic close, medium, and long range, because what happens is the boss spends a bunch of his time attacking the air. You can see here that I have the exact min and max distances of all his attacks mapped out. That's where layer 3 comes in, picking his own moves. When nothing's being thrown at him, he takes a brief second, then picks an attack. He doesn't pick randomly, he only considers moves that will actually reach you. He opens the fight by always summoning a couple of wasps from the hive at the top of the screen, and then periodically summons more. I've got this on a cooldown, so he's not doing it all the time. I had to tune it a bit to get the right ratio of him fighting versus summoning. The wasps are essentially another normal enemy, but they're pretty basic. They track the player, and when they get within a certain distance, they take a snapshot of the player's position and then execute their dive attack. The The one bit of interesting logic I had to implement with them was to keep them from clumping up or converging. This is a common thing that can occur when you have multiple enemies tracking the player. They're all going to basically try to take the same path towards him, and you end up with a big blob of enemies bunched together like a bunch of 5-year-olds at a soccer game. So you can see in my script I've got a separation radius and force, which basically makes the wasp repel each other so they don't bunch up. Like I said, I still have some work to do tuning him to make the fight even better. And of course he's not nearly as good as fighting an actual person who's trying to beat you, but he's as close as I can get him with the skills that I have. This isn't machine learning or anything fancy. It's a stack of plain if this then that rules layered in a smart order. The feel of intelligence comes from good rules combined thoughtfully, not an actual brain. But I've definitely learned a lot building him, and I'll apply these lessons to hopefully make even better bosses down the road. I'll leave you with another bit of fighting along with the sweet boss battle music I got from White Bat Audio. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.